Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are, whatever you're doing, and welcome to another episode of Newsround for Anfield Index. It is Monday, the 4th of August. There is a storm in town, isn't there? Especially as where I am, which we'll talk about. There's set to be potentially, but the matches, plural, are set to go ahead. But funnily enough, even on a day, Liverpool are set to play twice. Is it the biggest thing on everyone's lips as a red? I'm not quite convinced. There is plenty going on. It does feel like this week could be, and we said this before, and it has been for different reasons, quite pivotal in developments and what happens for us, doesn't it? I'm your host, Dave Davis, coming to you from a bleak and gloomy Edinburgh. It is throwing it down outside. There is a storm in town, which maybe it's a sign because it's Monday, because Saturday, Sunday, the weather was absolutely glorious, absolutely sensational. And now it couldn't look more different. Fingers crossed, it is nice wherever you are in the world. But we're here to talk about everything Liverpool related, aren't we? What's going on the pitch, off the pitch? We will get to it all today. And funnily enough, for everything we talk about off the pitch and the transfers, which we'll come to, a couple of games today, isn't there? The first outing of that brand new Adidas kit, which people have had different opinions on, haven't they? So now they will get their chance to pick because they'll be able to see it in real life and give their opinions on that. But two games today. First against Atletico Bilbao, 5 o'clock. Second against Atletico Bilbao, 8 p.m. So we're nice. I'm not going, but if you buy one, you get to stay for two, etc. So a nice little outing for just maybe, many who don't get to see the Reds live. So I'm sure they will be enjoying their days more than anyone. Fingers crossed the weather isn't too bad in the Liverpool area. So that'll be that. So probably media matters and things like that, people. We will be delaying till tomorrow so we can talk about the games. But what are we talking about today? Also off the field, Wataru Endo giving an interesting interview to the official magazine of the football club. And some quotes here that I think are quite interesting. I mean, if we're deadly honest, at the start of the summer, many were expecting Endo to leave, weren't they? Or realise he wasn't going to get many minutes, a World Cup option with Japan, all those types of things, him being the captain, and maybe hoping for names like, and I get it, Water Belabour, as we've talked about. But it just now doesn't seem to be on the club's radar. I think we've got to face into that a little bit. And interesting, some quotes here from Endo. I met with Arne to try and get how he wants to play, to understand what his tactics are. And as he says, that's speaking ahead of this season coming. That's what I tried to adapt to in the training camp in pre-season because everyone needed to adapt to his football. I suppose, sorry, that is, 24-25 last season. But this season coming, it's been interesting. He seems fired up as well. When I spoke with Arne, I said, I don't mind where I play. I can play as a 6, at right back or at centre back. I don't mind. And I will just always give 100% to the team. That attitude from Endo, you can't doubt it. It's been absolutely spot on. And also, Arne Slot has talked about this, hasn't he? He's actually name-checked Endo in pre-season saying, brilliant, absolutely sensational for me, great attitude like we need for the team. You never know, and there's plenty of time in the window left, but I do think Endo is the utility man that just sticks around now. I mean, as it stands right now, I think he's fourth choice centre half, isn't he? Unless another one comes in. But I think they just find him useful in that sense to be cover across the board. Now, he's a bit of a cult hero, Endo, isn't he? Still keeping the number 3 shirt for this season. And this is what I just find odd. Loads of people will call Endo a cult hero and say, oh, it's great he's around, the gum shield in and all that. But as soon as he starts on playing on the pitch, why are we playing Endo? What's going on? This shows how bad the squad is, etc., etc. Which, could you have it both ways? I suppose you can. I'll leave it with you. But Yeah, based on the interview, based on what we're hearing, unless something changes, and it easily can do, I think Endo is staying for this coming campaign. One player who you pretty much are sure will not be staying, though, is Darwin Nunez. I mean, we've had so much with Nunez. The rumours with Atletico, AC Milan are still there, apparently, Juventus and all that. Napoli, I think, did we get to 3 bids? Was it? Somewhere around 50 million euros-ish. And that fell through because they just weren't prepared to meet Liverpool's asking price. And to be honest, if Napoli aren't prepared to meet it with their, just won the title, Champions League money, etc., are we that confident that AC Milan and Juventus will meet the price? I don't think we really are, if we're deadly honest, but some may say different in the chat panel right now. But it was the Ornstein bomber late last night around 6:30, wasn't it? Al Hilal identified Darwin Nunez as a priority target and is stepping up efforts to sign the Liverpool striker. No bid yet, but interest registered to Liverpool Football Club, and Al Hilal plans to push for the 26-year-old are accelerated internally. The Uruguay international is receptive to the possibility. Now, you can't forget that Darwin Nunez agreed a move to Al Nassr in the January window before Arne Slot and Liverpool pulled the plug. And obviously, the sliding door moment, Victor Osimhen would have come to Anfield as well. Napoli fell through. I think Darwin it sounds strange, but I think it's true. Like the Culture Club tune, just wants to be loved, doesn't he? I think that's more than anything. And also, he's clearly not wanted at Anfield by Arne Slot. This is a move where, when all the other options close, you can get paid a truckload of cash, score a hatful of goals, and even if he just does it for a year or so, maybe, comes back to Europe after the World Cup, anything like that, I think it's just a good reset is the word I'm going to use for Darwin. And to be fair, Ornstein backed up there at the same time by Fabrizio Romano, who tweeted more obviously on that story. Al Hilal manager Simone Inzaghi wants Nunez as the priority target. Liverpool authorised Darwin to hold talks with Al Hilal and also direct talks with Simone Inzaghi. Again, both saying no formal bid sent yet. Let's be honest, it does feel down to he's got to authorise it, hasn't it? As in Darwin Nunez happy to do it. And then it will go from there. I mean, David Ornstein did mention his story, as we mentioned. Milan have also shown an interest in signing Nunez, though it's unlikely the Serie A club will be able to match the financial package that Al Hilal could put together. And also, they wouldn't match the bid, would they, people? Let's be honest. So, that would happen. And he also mentions again that Al Nassr, that deal was on the verge of being done. I think we know what's happening here, why this is all building a little bit. And it's funny that Romano's now actually put Darwin as his pinned tweet, isn't he? Which we know why that usually what that results in. We know what's coming. And it's all coming because of what's happening with Alexander Isak, isn't it? Who is back on Tyneside, and the Geordies have got their thoughts on it. And no doubt I'll be saying hi to various Geordies in the chat by any time now, a few popping up. But let's try and balance this because we are Newsround factually, and just have a listen to Craig Hope, who is the Geordie patch journalist for Daily Mail. And I think just this snippet, just this around a minute, will give you a feel of how much it has changed from a couple of weeks ago on that Newcastle side.
You've got to act with respect. And everything I've heard and been privy to the last couple of weeks, since I broke the story that he told the club he wants to go, coupled with what Eddie Howe has said tonight and everything else we've heard around the team hotel and press conferences, on the record, off the record.
Monday CRM has the best AI features in the game.
Especially in sales.
Hands down.
Just at that time. So I'll let that skip because this...
Alexander Isak hasn't acted well. And for Eddie Howe to commit tonight to the words poorly, well, that tells you everything you need to know. Is there any way back from this now? Well, as I said in a video earlier today, the fact that Newcastle are pursuing Benjamin Sesko with such gusto would tell you that they do expect Alexander Isak to move on, or certainly open to that possibility. Now, is there any word on Sesko? As I stand here now again.
It's that key line, isn't it? Do you remember almost we've gone from down the scale, not for sale at all, to 150 million British record transfer fee, to now, I think, and that's the Geordie side, just to be, objective, saying clearly that the fact they're pursuing Benjamin Sesko with such gusto tells you they are open to that move, or at least the possibility. And of course they are. As I said before, and a few others have said, this is just a little bit of a charade playing out, isn't it, somewhat? That Newcastle, and we'll talk about their statements Eddie Howe's now changing his tune a little bit on, have got to be seen to be acting forcefully and to appease their fans. Liverpool are quite happy to play the bad guys, and, I suspect Isak is in all this to get that move. It's just all a little bit of a charade playing out. So we've just got to work our way through this. And also, there you go, Romano tweeting yesterday, Liverpool, all that talk that they'd left talks, that was it. It was one and done. Get a grip, people. Come on. Think back to that Simpsons episode, eh? Even Homer Simpson knew not to take the first bid from Mr. Burns when he was negotiating over the power plant. And we all know how clever Homer was at negotiations, eh? Look at that tweet. Liverpool never left talks for Alexander Isak, planning to insist again, but it depends on the Newcastle decision. What it actually depends on is when do Newcastle get? Is it Visser? Is it Sesko? Is it others that we'll talk about through the door? It all comes back to that. And even just look at the tune changing of Eddie Howe in the last 24 hours. So this is him as a tweet put out by Craig Hope on the Newcastle side at 2:38 yesterday. Of course, I'd like him to be around training with us this week, but I don't know whether he will at this moment in time. Other people have been dealing with that situation back at home. Nice. I don't know. Nothing really too strong there, is it? We'll have to see. 2, later on. Well, tweet up there. There we go. This morning, as it's been tweeted, sorry. You have to earn the right to train with us. We are Newcastle United. The player has a responsibility here to be part of a team and part of a squad. You have to act in the right way. No player can expect to train poorly or act poorly, and train with the group as normal. I mean, what happened between 2:38 on August the 3rd and 7 a.m. on August the 4th, Eddie? Again, and it's not trying to be derogatory or critical of Newcastle, Eddie Howe. People can read into this what they want and make their own opinions. But for my take, I think it was a bit more honest, and then realising what's the correct party line, shall we say, if we're going to make Alexander Isak a bit of the bad guy. Of course it is. And to be fair, if you look at the reactions on various fan sites, it's gone down well with the Geordies, and I get it to an extent. Again, harsh or not, it is just all part of a charade that is being played out. And also, if you don't think they're moving on too much and people are Sesko in this 4-4-2 or whatever, I mean, come on. As Craig also tweeted yesterday, Goncalo Ramos, that PSG striker, and he mentions him in his video as well, available, I suspect, around £50 million. He's in the alternatives. Ollie Watkins been mentioned, Rodrigo Muniz, others. We could go on for ages. Essentially, Newcastle just need to get strikers, plural, so they can be seen to now, it's the right. And, we have to play all this out, don't we, at the same time. So it is what it is. Other developments we're waiting for. Tyler Morton's not going to be in the Bilbao squads, plural, is he? Because, he's set to complete that move to Lyon, as Paul Joyce sort of broke that the other day, around £15 million deal. And also Liverpool will have a 20% sell-on clause. Now, as is natural, French journalists on the other side are reporting it as, it's 10 million or so. And of course, because we've got to play these games. But Yeah, up to 15 million, I think. It's a great move for Tyler Morton. We're obviously waiting to see what happens with Leon a little bit and their ownership and behind the scenes, but good luck to him more than anything. Yeah, we will just see what develops on that. Joe Gomez is the other one to keep an eye on, isn't he, ladies and gents, in the sense of, is he back with this squad? We've had no update since he flew home from that Far East tour, have we? Nothing at all. It was minor, and they wanted to treat him there, but we're even waiting for Anderslot to say it'll be a week, a couple of weeks, and I think the centre-back situation is the one that I understandably, and for me a little bit, is just starting to bug people a bit, isn't it? Like, who is coming in? Because today in these games, I think we're all thinking that it could be, I don't know whether we'll put Van Dijk and Konate together, or does he play one in each game? And then, as per the last game against Yokohama, it was Endo and Tsimikas as the backups. I mean, Lucas Stevenson might get a run out there. You know, it's everyone wants a centre-back through the door, and it does get that feeling that unless Crystal Palace put a price tag that starts with a 3 in front of it, I think it's madness because I'd do it at 40, but it doesn't seem like Liverpool are budging on that Mark Gay fee. We're just going to have to see, aren't we? But plenty on the docket for today. 2 games, 5 o'clock, 8 o'clock. Will we get more news on the Isak, Nunez, Sesko, Watkins, Ramot, whatever chain you want to call it, so we get some more developments around Alexander Isak moving to Liverpool? Will we get more answers from Arne Slot about Joe Gomez, about the centre-back situation and everything else? He's going to speak after the games, isn't he? Of course he is. There is so much going on. It generally comes back to what I said at the start of the show. It does feel like it's going to be a pivotal week all round. Then again, there's still a few weeks, month or so of the transfer window to go, isn't there? And before you know it, the end of this week, Christ, the Reds are playing in the Charity Shield, aren't they? Against Crystal Palace, which would give them a good little chance just to have a little word about Mark Gay and sort things. But we'll have to see what unfolds, won't we? Your guess is as good as mine. But on Monday, the 4th of August, that was another news round